Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in this episode, I want to talk with you about how some assumptions that you may be making could be holding you back. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned. So when I got into the business side of the fitness industry, I had come from being a college baseball coach. I had been a strength coach at the university. I had taught at the university, and the most money I had ever made in a year was like $28,700. Now, this is a while back, so that probably sounds a little bit more pathetic now than it would have at the time, but I came from a small town, Portsmouth, Ohio, where the average household income was pretty low. The, money was definitely one of those things that, people had pretty strong views on, on money, and the people I was around, had that mindset that, hey, these things are expensive, or they're overpriced, or money's hard to come by, and some of that stuff. And I know that for me, that was, some quote unquote baggage that I may have carried along for a while. And I think that it took me a while to understand that, my assumptions were limiting my opportunity to sell personal training when I got into that, because I had this kind of belief rooted somehow that, well, hey, if I'm selling this service that's $300 a month, well, $300 a month is well beyond my means, so how could anybody afford that? How could anybody spend as much money on training as I was paying for an apartment or something like that? And I see people kind of go down that path, thinking, well, hey, the market won't spend this. It's too expensive. And they'll underprice their services and they'll cut their margins pretty thin. Or they make assumptions about people saying, well, hey, these people don't have money. And I see this time and time again. People making assumptions about the marketplace that are really about that person doing the selling, the business owner, the service provider, and not about the market itself. And whether you get into thinking about this being like your reticular activating system will kind of find what you're looking for, so to speak, or for me, it just I always kind of thought of it as, hey, this is the lens by which I view the world, right? I'm thinking about things in this way, and I'm making assumptions about other people, knowing that they get to make their own choices. They get to decide how much money they spend on certain things, and they may be at a different state in life than I am when it comes to the means that they have to invest. And there are plenty of things that I probably, even at that stage of life where I was making $30,000 a year, I might have been willing to spend 1 or 2% of my income on certain things. Well, if somebody's making $150 or $200 or $300,000 a year, 1 to 2% of their income is, it's perhaps 10x what my budget was for those things I was spending. So I think it's important that we don't allow our assumptions about people. I remember early on, I'd see the cars that prospects that would be coming in for consultations would pull up in, and I'd make assumptions one way or the other about them. And I remember the tipping point for me that allowed me to never fall in this trap again. So I kind of had this rule for myself that if I was going to work on Saturday in my first training business, that I wasn't leaving until I sold something. It didn't matter if it was just a single session. I was going to sell something. Well, I had this prospect that walked in who literally was wearing a white t-shirt with holes throughout that had stains on it. Looked pretty disheveled. You would certainly make the assumption that this person didn't have a lot of financial means. And so I thought, you know what? I can probably sell this person at least program design. I can give them something that will guide them on what to do. So we go through this introductory consultative type session, and I sit down and I go through my sales process starting at 3 times a week, knowing that I'm going to do like a downsell ultimately for this program design stuff. And I start with 3 times a week, and and before I even kind of finish the sentence describing what the cost is, and in my mind, I'm just creating this anchor, right? Like I'm going to share the highest price thing. So when I get to the lower price thing, it is really inexpensive. And he stopped me. He said, okay, I'll take that one. Can I pay for it all now? Like, can I pay for the year now? And this was, about almost $5,000 worth of training. And I just stopped dead in my tracks. And he pulled out a checkbook and he wrote a check on the spot for that amount of money. And then he explained to me that he had just, his mother had just passed away. He had inherited a little bit of money from her, and her request for him was that he really go take care of himself. So this was really important to him. So he had this just truly meaningful reason to be there and the means to do it. And I was making these awful assumptions that, because he, was overweight at the time and looked disheveled, that, taking care of himself maybe hadn't been a priority, or that he didn't have the means to do it. And I was completely off base. And, and I kind of latched onto that moving forward and stopping those assumptions and assuming kind of the best in every situation, and not saying, well, hey, the market, they're not buying, they don't have money, they're going to object to everything. Instead, just thinking, hey, you know what? If they're giving me their time, this is important to them. If they're sitting down with me, this is a priority. And all of a sudden, things got so much easier. I was able to sell to people much more easily, and I was also very much at peace when somebody didn't buy, because I knew that I had gone into it in the right frame of mind. So I think the takeaway, the lesson here is that if you're going into a sales session, or if you're marketing and you're making these assumptions about the marketplace, you're really kind of undermining your own possibility for success. I mean, I've seen people spend money on things, like from a health perspective or whatever else, where they'd go get a second mortgage on their house to afford some sort of treatment. And I'm not talking about like for cancer or something else, for like autoimmune conditions and that sort of thing. And it was always something that reminded me that, people can decide what their priorities are. It's not my job to decide for them. It's not my job to prejudge and make assumptions. It's my job to provide the best possible solution for the people who do seek that solution and are willing to invest in it. And I believe that's probably the case with you as well. If you stop overcomplicating things, stop making assumptions that the market won't invest, stop making assumptions that, $179 is too expensive, but $149 is cheap enough. Like, and just say, you know what, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to care about serving the person in front of me. And I'm going to charge what I need to charge to do this profitably so I can do it at the highest possible level. You're going to see so much better results. So if you've been making assumptions, this is the reminder to let them go and grow your business. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. When I first connect with a fitness business owner, they almost always ask me how they can grow, how they can accelerate their progress. Well, I have an exclusive offer for you, and it's going to help you do just that, to accelerate you building the business that you want to own, getting more clients, generating more revenue, increasing your income, improving your lifestyle. And as a listener of this show, you can test drive our ideal business accelerator coaching program for free. IBA is a one-of-a-kind program where you're going to get everything from done-for-you marketing tools and a level of coaching that's unmatched in our industry to getting actual direction on how to build the business that you want, a blueprint from where you are to where you want to be. So you're going to be able to attract those clients that you want to work with. You're going to be able to increase your income. You're going to be able to improve your lifestyle. And all of that is going to be more readily accessible to you than you ever thought possible, because we're going to give you every tool, template, ads, script, everything that you need, plus over 10 weekly live video coaching sessions to help you with everything from dialing in your ads to mastering your mindset. All of this is stuff that you get when you join the Ideal Business Accelerator. And to help you succeed, I'm going to do something that really is kind of unmatched in our industry. I'm going to let you test drive IBA at zero cost. If it delivers for you in the way that I know that it will, it's going to more than pay for itself, and you're probably going to want to stay. But if not, no sweat. You're out nothing, and you have a library of proven tools and resources to keep and to help you going forward. To take advantage of this special offer, just email me at pat@patrigsby.com and put test drive in the subject line, and I'll get you all the details.